where I live, we're currently under a sort of winter snow ice storm. And so I've decided, of course, that it's going to be a little cozy reading day. I have Viola Davis's Finding Me. This is what I'm going to be reading in this reading vlog. And what else? I don't know. We might be doing some other things like watching shows, journaling. I don't know. But this is a reading vlog, so primarily we will be reading. I'm going to make myself a cup of coffee and I'm going to get comfortable and we're going to start this book. Okay, we're back. I don't really know how long it's been, but I think it's probably been about an hour, and we are only 11 pages into this book. And that's not to say that it's like difficult to read or anything, or like it's not interesting, because it very much is, but I can already tell from the first chapter that this is not something that you need to speed read. There's already questions being asked in the first chapter that are making me reflect on my own life, which is what I love about memoirs. And I wish that I had started the year with this book, but it's still January, so technically I am. I also wanted to show you guys my reading journal for 2026. I had one in 2025, but I never finished it. I think part of the reason for that was that I was very focused on making it kind of like aesthetically pleasing with like the design and like the layout pages genre released read and the stars that I gave it. And it is very cute to look at, but at the moment, it made me feel like I had a lot of work to do, and I don't like feeling that way. So with this reading journal, I'm going to not make it so much about the idea that other people might see it and just keep it for myself. Everything in here is something that I really want to be in here, personally. Like, it's beneficial for me. So I just wanted to show it to you guys. But this is what it looks like. I think it's very cute. Books. And when you open it up, it says this notebook belongs to me. And then the first couple of pages, there's a picture of me from the beginning of this year, so I can see what I look like in January 2026. And then I have a book bingo that I'm very excited about. I did a 2025 bingo, like just in general, and never did anything with that. So I'm excited about this. So these are the squares on the bingo. Finish a trilogy. I have not read like a series that I just like, that was just for me in a long time, and I really want that experience. So that's on here. Finish a trilogy. Read a memoir, which will be marked off soon because I'm reading Finding Me by Viola Davis. Book to movie, which is read a book, then see the movie adaptation. Read a book written by a Hispanic author. I have a book on my shelf. Yes, With the Fire on High. Probably read that one to cross that challenge off. Read a book from the library. Read a fantasy novel. Fantasy novels have always been fun for me, but sometimes they just require a lot of effort when it comes to understanding the world and the magic system and all of that, and I haven't always wanted to in terms of fantasy, like learn a whole new world system. But I've had a really good time with fantasy books in the past. I want that experience again, and I want to read fantasy this year, so that'll be good for me. Read without scrolling for 2 hours. Needed. Read a historical fiction novel. That goes without saying. Reread a favorite book. Now I'm excited about that one because I don't typically reread books. I'm afraid, especially when it comes to books that I enjoyed a long time ago, like books that I really liked in middle school, which, you know, my younger brain, I don't know if I would feel the same way about them now, and I don't want to overwrite the memory with like a disappointing review. So I'm always afraid to reread books, but I want to reread something this year. I think that would be really good. Read a book published in 2026. Read without stopping for 1 hour. Read a duology, free space. Read a thriller / mystery novel. Read a book I've never heard of. Read a book written by a man, which I've done that already, but I made this bingo after I read my first 2 books of the year, so I'm not going to count what I've already done. Read a book by a new author. Read a book that's over 500 pages, because it's real easy for me to just pick something that's like under 300, but I don't want to shy away from like spending a lot of time with a thick book, especially if it's really good. Read a classic novel. I have some ideas for this year. Read a YA novel. Read a self-help book. Read a book written by an Asian author. Read a book published in 1994, the year I was born. And then for the last 2 squares, I asked my fiance to give me some ideas, and he told me read a manga, and also to read a, what is this, browsable nonfiction, like the eyewitness books. So he wanted me to read like, I don't know, about dinosaurs or something. So this, I think, is going to help me to read a little more diversely, to challenge myself in some ways. And I do have prizes that I'm going to give myself. Anytime I get bingo, so 1 row is like crossed off completely, I can go to Barnes & Noble and buy 2 books. If I get the full board, then that means a Barnes & Noble shopping spree. I haven't set my limit for that yet, but I think that would be a lot of fun. So that's just what I'm going to do. And I've already like kind of started filling out the journal, and it's not as aesthetically pleasing as my other one, but all this is just like my thoughts on the book and then quotes that I loved. I might like do some more things as I feel like, if I want to, you know, draw or make it a little bit more colorful, but I don't want to force myself to do that every time, because I think the forcing is what caused me to not finish my 2025 journal. So that's that. Yeah, I'm going to read a couple of more chapters of Finding Me. And then, I don't know, I might take a break and do something else today. It's Sunday. It's still very, like, pretty outside with the snow and things. But I don't know. I want to do other things today, too. So, we'll see. Hey guys, it's the next day, Monday, January 26th. We're working from home. We're working virtually today. I'm 5 chapters into Viola Davis's memoir. I could be farther. I'm a little bit disappointed about that, but also not really, because I just said yesterday that this is not something that I want to speed read through. I'm very much enjoying it. Viola is a great storyteller, and one thing that I did not know about her is that she was born in South Carolina, which is where I live currently. She was born in St. Matthews Plantation, I think it's called, and I looked it up. It's like an hour and a half from where I am, and I believe you can go there and visit. So now I'm thinking about planning a trip to just kind of go see this place. But that's really cool that she's from South Carolina. I felt the same way about Kerry Washington when I read her memoir. I did not know that she had roots in South Carolina either, so that's very cool. No, I just know that when you live somewhere, it can become very easy to be numb to all of the amazing things that are in your backyard and feel the need to travel somewhere else to get that wow experience. But stories like this remind me that there is a lot of cool stuff here. So anyway, I want to go to St. Matthew's Plantation just to see where she was born, but also to get kind of the history of it. And yeah, so before 1 p.m. I want to get everything else done so that I can just relax and read my book. Okay, it is late. I'm not sure how late, but I know it's like after 9 o'clock. It's not too late, but it's time for me to blow this popsicle stand. I'm 100 pages into Finding Me by Viola Davis, and wow, I set a goal, an intention that I would try my best to not form like deep opinions about a book before the 100 page mark. And now that I'm at it, wow, I keep finding myself thinking like, how did somebody go through all this stuff? Like, I can't even imagine being in the situations that she is talking about. And I realize it's a blessing that I can't imagine that. Then I start thinking of like parallels between stories that she's telling about her family and then stories that I've heard of my own, and or books that I've read that deal with like super deep trauma, and then I'm reading about like the manifestation of that in somebody's actual life. Like it's a lot. It's wow. It sounds weird to be like, I'm enjoying this very traumatic story. And that's one thing that I was thinking about. I would hate for the wrong person to read this book, people who really enjoy just like traumatic things and they don't get what's important out of it. And to me, what I feel is important about this is like it's the title, Finding Me. I don't know about everybody else, but I assume that a lot of us are on a journey of just trying to figure out who we are and where we fit in with things. And I've really been on that journey myself for the past like year, almost 2 years. And seeing somebody walk this journey and just be super open and vulnerable, because the things that she is like disclosing, they're really hard to like say. I don't know, but it's inspirational. And if she can get to the point where she is right now, I can do that too, is what I'm thinking. But anyway, I feel like I said a whole lot of nothing because I don't want to give the story away, but this is a really good book. And I want to end on the note that there was a question in the book where Will Smith asked her, like, who are you? And she was like, what do you mean, who am I? And then he was like, I'm always going to be that 15-year-old boy whose girlfriend broke up with him. Sidebar, apparently Will Smith got cheated on when he was 15 and decided that he was going to be the most famous actor in the world. So that's the thing that fueled his whole career. So that's what he meant by that. So then Viola basically responds to him and she's like, I'm always going to be that like little girl who was being chased by the kids after school because they just thought that she wasn't worthy or deserving of love or any good thing. And so my interpretation of that was, okay, this how we define ourselves, it seems like based off of their framework that it has to do with this like really traumatic moment in our lives, something that hurt us. And so I was like, I don't know what mine is. And so yesterday I'd asked my fiance, I was like, what is your moment? Like, who are you? And he was just like, but today I thought it was so interesting because I told him, it's like, I don't know. I told him, I was like, I don't know what mine is. And I feel like I need to journal about this and figure it out because I'm always trying to do that. I'm always trying to like get to the meat of the thing. And so today when he was cooking, he asked me, he said, so who are you? And I forgot that we had that conversation. And I was like, you know what? And I think I figured it out. And I told him that I'm going to use this to end the video. So I'm going to share it with you guys. And I'm always going to be the girl who made hard decisions and grew from them. I've made lots of decisions and sometimes I question, like, was that a good thing to do? But at the end of the day, good or not, that those are subjective terms. The point is that every decision that I make, I'm growing from it. And I don't have regrets about the things that I've done. I'm grateful that I've learned. So let me say it again. Who am I? I'm always going to be the girl who's made hard decisions and then grew from them. All right. Good night, y'all.